Okay, we're going to talk about something that comes up in almost every divorce, and it's a decision that can completely change the game. We're talking about leaving the marital home. Now, it seems so simple, right? But it can turn into a massive, and I mean devastating mistake for your entire case. So let's get into why.
Look, when you're in the middle of a separation, the feeling of wanting to just get out is overwhelming. The tension is thick, it's emotionally draining, and finding your own space feels like the only way to keep your sanity. I get it. The impulse is powerful. But you have to pump the brakes. Seriously. Acting on that impulse, as totally understandable as it is, could be the single worst strategic move you make. That simple act of walking out the door can spring a legal trap that puts your custody rights, your finances, and your property in serious jeopardy.
All right, let's start with a big one. For most people, this is what matters most: your kids. Moving out too soon can put your whole custody situation at a huge disadvantage before you've even had a chance to talk about it. It all boils down to this really important legal idea called the status quo. It's just a fancy way of saying the way things are right now. And you have to understand, courts will do almost anything to keep things stable for kids during a divorce. They hate disruption. The second you move out, guess what? You've just set a brand new status quo.
And here's why that's so dangerous. By leaving, you basically hand your spouse the title of primary caregiver in the eyes of a judge. The kids are in the house, your spouse is in the house, so they look like the main parent. It instantly creates this massive uphill battle for you. You're now fighting to fix a problem you accidentally created, and trust me, that kind of damage can be incredibly hard to undo later on.
Okay, so beyond custody, which is huge, let's talk about your wallet. The second major hit is the insane financial pressure it puts you under. Moving out can sink you financially, like almost overnight.
And really, it all comes down to this one simple, brutal number: 2. Suddenly, you're not trying to support one household, you're trying to support 2. Your income, which was already probably stretched pretty thin, now has to cover 2 of everything.
We call this the financial double hit. A judge could easily order you to keep paying the mortgage on the old house while you're also paying for your new apartment and all your new bills. And that can set a really bad precedent for what you'll have to pay later. Plus, think about this. It gives your spouse all the leverage. They're sitting comfortably in the house you're paying for. What's their rush to settle things? Absolutely none.
So your custody's at risk, your finances are a mess. What else could go wrong? Well, a lot actually. The third major risk is losing your legal footing, which affects everything from your property rights to what you can be accused of in court.
Think about it. Once you're out, you've lost access. Need a copy of last year's tax return? A bank statement? Shoot, even just your favorite coffee mug? It's now a whole negotiation. And from a legal view, physically leaving a home you own together can be twisted to look like you're abandoning your claim to it. But the scariest part? Your departure can be used as a weapon against you.
And get this is wild. In 33 states, that's most of the country, if you leave the home without your spouse's consent, it can legally be considered desertion. That's not just a word. It's a formal fault-based reason for divorce that can be used to make you look bad in court and could seriously impact the final outcome. It's a shocking number that really shows how high the stakes are.
Now, I have to be crystal clear about something. Everything we've just talked about is from a purely strategic, legal point of view. There are absolutely times when leaving is not a mistake. It's a necessity. Your safety and the safety of your children will always come first. Period.
So, let's lay it out. If there's domestic violence or abuse of any kind, you get out. If the home is so toxic and full of conflict that it's doing real harm to your kids, you get out. And, obviously, if a judge orders you to leave, you leave. These reasons, they override all the legal strategy in the world. Your well-being is non-negotiable.
So, knowing all these terrifying risks, but also knowing these critical exceptions, what on earth is the right first move? What do you do when you feel that intense urge to just pack a bag and run?
Before you even think about putting one thing in one box, before you browse for apartments online, before you do anything that even hints that you're leaving, there's one thing you have to do first.
This is it. This is the single most important takeaway. Talking to a divorce lawyer isn't just a smart idea, it's absolutely essential. They will know the specific laws for your state, and they can help you figure out a real strategy that protects you, your money, and your kids, whether the right move is to stay or to go.
So let's end with this question. The desire to escape a bad situation is completely human. But as we've seen, in a divorce, the best first step isn't packing a bag. Knowing what's at stake, your custody, your finances, your legal rights, the smartest, most strategic first step you can take is to pause, breathe, and make a phone call to get professional advice before you do anything else.